Well, it didn't even give me 1 minute. And you could probably see a little bit. I got a stream going right now. That's how I get a little stream going. It burst the flame up. And now it's streamed in there. I give it about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And then I cut my feed back. Because it takes a little bit of time to see any adjustments. I need to put a valve down in this area. So that way I can see more immediate drips in my pipe here, so I know the rest of my system flow rate from there. Still in the works. This was all just a test. My whole fuel line that I use for oil on the way in right now is all just a test. Until I get the right valve that I want to use. I need to get a needle valve, I assume. Something that can control the flow rate or stream and easier to control. These ball valves, they're not going so good. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. A little bit does a lot. It literally, you think, oh, well, I'll just cut it back a little bit. Well, and then all of a sudden you got like 1 drip a second. I like to see 3 to 4 drips a second. It seems like 5 or 6 drips a second is almost a stream. And I don't really want to have a stream, because then you get like Jack of all trades 383 talks about, you get a Chernobyl effect. Your system gets extremely hot, and then you cut your fuel rate out, well, it gets even hotter. The system just, it goes into like a meltdown mode, and he explains it almost perfectly. Chernobyl effect. You can see right now, though, it's picking up pretty good in just a matter of minutes. System, I am very happy. I'm very glad I built this. I have about 50 gallons of old oil, and I always working on stuff. I do boat repairs, ATV repairs. I'm always got oil. I don't know if you could see it. I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit. It burns clean. I was amazed. I thought some of these guys were adding stuff to their fuel to help it burn a little better on their videos. It burns better than a wood burner, and especially when the system's hot and roaring really good. You got your flow rate perfect, the system's going just right. You don't even see smoke. It's for somebody that's a mechanic that has a lot of oil or veggie waste oil, or if it can burn, I definitely wouldn't use any kind of 2-strokes or gasoline in the system. I don't even like to start my fire with gasoline. The oil and a napkin do just great. I put a napkin in there and turn it on, it starts streaming, light the napkin, and put my pot back in place. Quick shot over the system. I'm not the best a welder. I don't have a gas welder. I have gasless. Very tough, but again, it was all just a test. And then welding the thin metal like that down there to a thick metal up here, I had to weld on low setting to this thin metal. That's throat right there is a propane tank, a camping propane tank. And then that up there, where I welded it, I had to go back on high setting and weld my welds to the rotor and get them sufficient. I went around the whole system, hitting it with hammers, making sure my system's not going to break apart or any welds break when they get hot. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's roaring. This is good heat. I don't know how other than to say it, that's the roar I wanted to hear. I don't know if you can see my little drip rate. Very hard to see. Let me see if this will help. No. If I look down in there just right, it's looking like 1, 2, 3. I'm getting about my 2-3 drips a second after a stream. I use a little piece of wire. I stick down here in my holes just to check, see how much oil's in my pan. Right now there's barely any on there, so I'm not worried about any kind of meltdown, and that's telling me my system's gonna hold what it's doing right now just great. It's gonna keep this flow and this heat and this control going right now. Right now I'm burning motor oil, way thinner of course than gear oil. Seems a little easier to control the system, but gear oil seems to burn really good. It gets the system, if it lasts a lot longer all the way around, the better. That thicker oil lasts a lot longer. So I think in the future when I'm filtering my oils, because I'm not going to worry about water traps, that's in the bottom of my bottle if I get some. That's why my valve's up a little higher. But I'm always going to filter my oils and get the water out before I even put it in my system. And there's no need to just dump a bunch of junk and debris into my system and expect it to never get clogged or act funny. So I just want to rule out those problems. So far, I'm very happy with my system. For all free parts, everything, propane tank. These are trampoline covers, the netting that goes around a trampoline. That's the legs. 2 propane tanks, the big propane tank here for like your grill, that little propane tank there for camping, brake drums and rotors. I did some brakes on a friend's truck and got junk laying around. A pot, it's one of them T-flaw pots. It was all scratched up, nobody wanted to cook on it. Perfect for, hey, and I'm pretty amazed it ain't burning none of that stuff off there. This is a ceramic plate for a microwave. It's ceramic coated. The system gets I've had it red hot a couple times. It don't burn that paint off of there. That ceramic, so that's why I wanted to work with something like that. It seemed to be a little safer and the heat factor, and it's not going to rust. Once I'm happy with this system, I'm gonna burn all this paint, all this stuff and rust and everything off of here. I'm gonna switch to a cast iron pot and a little deeper pot because I want to put wood briskets in it, and paint the system with a black grill paint. That way there ain't no rust and it'll look a lot better. I'm gonna clean all these welds up and go from there. This is really my second test indoors. Did last night. I ran about 2 gallons of oil through it, gear oil. I got about, well, I only ran about 1 gallon and 2 quarts, 1.5 gallons, and I got 8 hours of burn, and the majority of that was running on high. The system was putting out sufficient heat. This big, windy, non-insulated old garage was fairly warm. Still work in progress in here. Hope you all enjoy somebody that's got a little bit of time and some junk laying around. Got all that motor oil laying around, you need to find a use for it. Here you go. You can wrap that system in copper piping and a little funnel system up top, and you could give yourself hot water if you need it. If in the middle of winter and electric goes out, you got a way to stay warm and get hot water for whatever. And this plate right here, if I had to, I could get this system hot enough to do some cooking on it. I wouldn't cook meat on there, but you could put a skillet and you could get this system really hot. I still got to put some stuff on the wall to protect heat, and I'm going to build a heat shield guard for the lower half of this system. Good luck. Enjoy.